feel like it's almost better or more beneficial to your competition when you don't analyze the opponent, or do you find you do better when you do?
Um, it's hit or miss because sometimes it could get in your own head. You know what I mean? Like you could start building them up like they're better. You know, like I have no chance. Oh, they're beating. I've seen all these videos where they're smoking dudes and like, oh man, maybe they're really. You know, you're beating yourself down before the competition gets there. So, but I could also see if you keep a clear head and basically study it without building them up. Study what they lose at. Study where they, you know, maybe they're not good at keeping base here, or they're easy to get swept with a certain move, whatever.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, no, I I occasionally look up my opponents before my matches, and it's I felt that like sometimes when I look at them, I'm just like, oh, this guy's gonna be so much fucking better than me, and I'll beat
Yeah,
myself up
I try
beforehand.
to keep a minimum.
That's
Like I'll
probably
watch maybe one or two and just get an idea, and then that's that.
I feel like that's probably the smartest move too. Like I said, mainly because you really want to like beat yourself down before a match because like you gotta be somewhat hyped about yourself.
Right.
It
Confidence is huge. Like that. If my confidence is down, I'm gonna lose already.
You think
Like
so?
yeah, before I even go in, if my confidence is somewhat low, I'm more than likely not gonna win. You know what I mean? Like I'm huge on confidence. When I'm confident, you could see a difference in my performances.
What do you do to hype yourself up before a match?
I more so try to just stay calm and loose because I don't want to have any adrenaline. I've had adrenaline dumps in the past, and I've had anxiety issues in the past before I ever competed. So it's always been a struggle for me. But at first, like getting over the hump of just being in front of people, not caring, and competing in front of people, not caring. And the biggest thing for me was just having fun with it and staying loose. That's when my best performances come out.
So how do you manage that with the travel? I mean, you got coaching now, you have training, and then you're trying to get on super fights. I know for combat jujitsu, regular jujitsu. You know, how do you make all that happen?
It gets hard to balance at times, but just try to take it one day at a time, or try not to overthink as much into the future. Like, you know, if I got something coming up, I know what I have to do that day in training. But it does get it does get stressful sometimes. It's a lot to handle because I coach a kids class at times and helping with that 3 times a week. I also got started in teaching adult fundamentals classes for beginner white belts.
Nice.
Yeah, so my coach Mike Harum gave me that opportunity. It started off about a year and a half ago of me teaching gi class every Friday night, and the class is like based off for beginners. It's like beginner friendly, like for people who don't ever train, they never train their life, and they're more so like afraid to hop in a regular class.
Heard a lot of people talk about like saying how coaching has actually like translated into better competitive skills for them. Like just talking about the technique. Have you experienced any of that at all?
Yeah, I got a lot more technical since teaching kids and adults, like beginners. The way you have to break it down for a kid to understand it, or someone who's just never done anything like this before. They're not they're not going to understand it as much as like someone like a blue belt or whatever, or some white belt with stripes. They're going to be like very confused at first. So I really have to break down every step, and try teaching a 5-year-old kid. Uh, Kimura, it ends up being a 9-step move if you think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I kind of do. Like, I have a layman's brain, so for me, like everything is a nine-step move. So I entirely get that. It's just it's crazy to see that like teaching can be this and almost in the same way, like beneficial that hard training can be in a preparation state.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge in my development. I would say that and competing are two of the most. I don't want to say underrated because a lot of people do it, but if you never competed, you know that like it's hard to learn like know what you're bad at. You
Oh,
could
for
go
sure.
back in
There's
our competition videos and see, okay, I lost by this triangle or whatever. Let me work on triangle defense. Oh, I need to work on this sweep, whatever. I mean, you've competed a ton of times too, so I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
I remember I used to get stuck in side control all the freaking time. And it was one of those things that like infuriated me. So it was like, I got to figure out how to get out of this shit. And I started pulling for half guard, and I started being able to push out and move in like, I don't even know how to explain it, but like transition into a single leg from being stuck underneath. So like, no, I get it. You see these certain things in competition continuously happen over and over and over, and you're just kind of like, what am I doing wrong here? And but you're able to see it. Whereas like when you don't compete, you don't see it. So many martial artists out there in the world today are they think they're good at something, but they haven't ever actually had to apply it. And it's like, how do you know? How do you know you can do this?
Right. You see that a lot of times, like guys that get up in the belt system, but they never competed and they really never tested themselves.